Hello and welcome to MK422 Sales and Sales Management. My name is Lisa Sturgeon, and in week one, we are going to highlight careers in sales. Oftentimes, transactional selling gets the lion's share of the conversation, the buying and selling of goods and services. However, there's a lot more to sales than just the transfer of money. We are often selling an idea when we are convincing a significant other to relocate, convincing friends or family to spend money on a new vacation, concert tickets, whatever it might be. And then we're also selling ourselves when we apply for a job and we convince someone to hire us and take a chance on us to do that job. So the skills that we are going to cover in week one are transferable skills. They are skills that you can apply not only in the business world and more specifically in sales, but they are skills that you will use every day. Some of the characteristics and skills that we will highlight this week are Husson's cornerstones values, character and humility. I think it goes to say that they're important not just in the day-to-day world of business, but also how you want to show yourself as a human being. Character is being authentic. Are you putting the customer's best interest in perspective instead of just your own? Humility, not always having the right answer, but not being afraid to say, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. Let me go find out for you. Instead of just giving a wrong answer and assuming that it might be right or fixing it later. A customer is going to respect that you acknowledge that you don't know everything, nor are you supposed to, but being able to research and find where to find that answer is super important. The ability to connect. We're all human beings, and in that we want to develop relationships, especially when we're buying big ticket items, be it a house or a car, or making a financial business decision with a new software or something for our business that's going to impact others in their jobs. So that's really, really important. The ability to listen, to understand, and not just respond. This is one of the skills that I use every day, and I find it really important. One, to make people more comfortable with you. When they're having a conversation, you can tell when somebody is interested in what that person is saying, or when they're just being quiet to be able to interject and say the next thing. You're going to be way more successful in sales and in life if you take a moment, listen to what the other person is saying, pause before you respond, and be able to think about how you really want to respond, not just in the heat of that moment. Ask clarifying questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions when somebody gives you information. What they might think that they are telling you tells the full story might not actually allow you to make the best decision for them. So asking those clarifying questions might also get to the root of a problem and not just the problem that they think that they're trying to fix. It could be, they're trying to buy something to save time. And really what they're trying to do is devote more time to training, resources, whatever it might be, or spending more time with family and making that decision. And so asking those clarifying questions not only help you find the best result for the guest, but it also helps you find what the real problem is that they're trying to solve. Being inherently motivated. Having that initial drive to succeed well on your own and not just because it's a job is super important. When we are motivated only by monetary things, promotion, raises, bonuses, whatever it might be, we're not going to put the guest in the best situation. And so to be able to take a step back and say, I'm motivated to do well and make my customers happy, or I know that ethical selling is important because it'll make me less stressed during the day. Whatever that might be, it is extremely important not just to focus on the monetary side of things, but also to think about how just doing a good job is important in and of itself. Resiliency. Sales and trying to move people from one decision to another can be taxing, both from an energy perspective and also from a self-esteem perspective if it is difficult. I think we can all think back to a time when we were trying to sell our parents on something and it didn't go the way that we wanted to. Being able to bounce back and reflect on maybe what went right and what went wrong, and then be able to go from there is really important. Positive attitude. Um, in sales, just in life in general, there are going to be situations where we're not going to get our way and things aren't going to go the way that we expected them to. And so to be able to take that resiliency, match it with a positive attitude, and say this is an opportunity to either learn or grow and move forward is extremely important. If we start thinking about how this was a bad situation and there's nothing to learn from or grow from, we're not going to try again. And that's just going to limit our future and our potential. So pairing the resiliency with a positive attitude is extremely important. And then finally, looking at fail as first attempt in learning is a fantastic skill. I have an 8-year-old, and so he sometimes gets stuck in the weeds of not wanting to try something because he's afraid of failure. Failure is part of the journey. We do not grow unless we try. And if we look at it as an opportunity to learn in our first attempt in learning, then we can learn from those mistakes and how to change and get better as we move forward. Then finally, the careers in sales. What types of careers are there? So there are direct sales. These are positions that sales are usually in the title, and you know that you are going to be in a sales situation. Entrepreneurial sales, you own your own business and you are building relationships, working with suppliers, retailers, customers on the daily, and you are trying to sell your product, service, or company to them for whatever reason. Nonprofit, lots of fundraising, lots of partnership development, all of these sorts of things go into nonprofit sales. Typically does not have sales in the title, but you're using those sales skills every day. Some important characteristics to note of careers in sales: competition. And that's not a bad thing. It makes us better at the skills that we're trying to develop and knowing and understanding our product and who our customer is. But we live in a capitalistic world. And so understanding that there will be competition is important. Compensation. Lots of sales careers, especially if they are direct sales, have some sort of base pay associated with it, with the potential for bonus or other compensation pieces. Something to be mindful of when you're going into a interview situation, being able to talk about what compensation looks like. Is it strictly commission, which I would argue is not probably the best situation, as you are just focused on that money, like we talked about earlier. You want to balance. How can you balance the needs and wants of your customers while also developing an incentive for yourself to succeed? And that also works if you're creating those sales plans for your team as well. Variety. No 2 days in sales are ever alike. No 2 customers are ever alike. And being able to navigate those challenges can be difficult for some people. Some people thrive in that situation. And then finally, the opportunity to travel. Lots of sales positions give people in sales careers the opportunity to travel. This might be through remote work, going to conferences, visiting clients in other states and other areas. But you're going to want to have the desire to travel or the likeness of wanting to travel. If traveling is something that you're uncomfortable with, that doesn't mean that you're not made for a career in sales. It just might mean that you need to think about how to navigate that situation better. The most important thing that I want you to take away from this week's mini lecture is that when we are talking about skills in sales, we're really talking about power skills. Industries might call them soft skills, but they're truly transferable skills that you can apply to every facet of life.